Violent attacks in the south of Thailand are on the rise. The army suggests that the success of their counterinsurgency operations and efforts to win the hearts and minds of locals have gained popular approval and prompted insurgents to escalate the violence. According to military spokesman Colonel Prinya Chaidilo, a new policy focusing on development has helped boost support for the army in the region. He says residents of the south are disillusioned with the insurgency and tired of the ongoing attacks.
The insurgents can't carry out as many attacks anymore because a lot of them have been arrested. Their organization has been weakened because when one of them is caught, we interrogate him and can get information that leads to those planning the attacks. Most of those who are still out there are very skilled and can carry out skilled attacks. The problem is that you can't win through waging attacks. You have to win over the people.
Police say the insurgents have killed over 3,000 people since the violence intensified in early 2004. The army spokesman stated that the number of attacks reached its peak last year and has since been on a steady decline. As for the recent spike in violence, he claims the insurgents are attempting to demonstrate their continued presence and power in the region.
After General Pichet's new policy to aid the people was put in practice, support for the insurgents has waned. The insurgents have responded by waging more attacks in the past 2 months to prove that they are still influential.
In a recent attack, suspected insurgents detonated a car bomb as a team of soldiers was on the way to inspect a suspicious object further down the road. Before the team reached the site of the suspected bomb, a real bomb planted in a pickup truck on the side of the road was detonated. Police said Major Pansak Tongsuk, deputy chief of the Ala 14 Special Task Force, and his aide were killed, while the other 4 soldiers in the jeep were seriously wounded.
I was over there when I saw the soldiers' jeep get blasted. I ran over to help out. The driver was on the right and the major was on the left, leaning over. I lifted him out of the jeep, but I didn't know who was who because their faces were full of blood. So I lifted him out and sent him to the hospital.
The culprits used a two-way radio transceiver rather than a cell phone to detonate the bomb. Lately, officials have been using jammers to obstruct the use of mobile phones for bombings. In recent months, the insurgents have carried out a number of sophisticated attacks and have shown an ability to adapt to changing conditions. Some authorities have admitted to underestimating the insurgents.
We use mobile phone jammers, and we have jammers that we can use to disrupt two-way radios, but we haven't used them. We didn't think they had anyone with the skills to use them correctly.
The attack also hints at an effort by insurgents to go after senior officers and high-profile targets.
That pickup was parked here when the bomb inside it went off. I'd already driven by a few times, but they didn't want me. I wasn't their target. Last year there were bombings here and shootings there, but the main target wasn't to kill. The aim was to agitate. This year their strategy has changed. So for every shot fired, there should be a death. For every bomb detonated, there should be many killed and wounded. The goal isn't to have quantity anymore, but to have quality. So now when a bomb goes off, there are almost certainly deaths.
Despite increased pressure from the Thai authorities and the Army's new development-focused policy, it is too soon to tell what the effect will be in the long run. However, the recent increase of attacks and the targeting of high-level officials indicate that the insurgency is strong and has the staying power to persist.
2 million people are living in these 3 southern provinces and 4 districts. There are maybe a couple of shootings and a bomb every 3 or 4 days, but in an area with an ongoing insurgency, We believe this isn't really a lot,
ผมถือว่าน้อยนะครับ
but we accept that we can't put a complete stop to the attacks because the insurgents are still active.
ไป stop not at all ได้ เพราะว่าเขายังมีอยู่ เขายังมี movement อยู่นะครับ
Reporting for WPR, this is Mark Oltmanns, Thailand.